Hey guys, I'm Jess Francisco from the YouTube channel A Card Day's Work, and I'm so excited to be here with you for the Collective Creators. This is a brand new platform bringing creators together to help support and build one another up. And I couldn't be more excited to be participating. This month's spotlight company is Neat and Tangled, and I'm actually going to be showing you how to create multiple cards in the exact same layout. And all we're going to change is the color palette, and you'll see how different of a vibe you can get from each of those color palettes. And all you have to do is change the colors. I think this will really help us be able to stretch our supplies more and get a little bit more out of the products that we do spend our money on before we move on to the next thing. It's nice to be able to feel like you're really getting the most out of the products that you're purchasing, and I think this is a great way to do it. So you can see here that I'm doing some ink blending. I have sped this up quite a bit because I am a fairly slow ink blender and colorist, so we would have been here all day, but I did go ahead and speed this up so that we could see all of the ink blending that I've done for each of these color combinations. I'm going to show you 4 different color palettes and how I did the ink blending for them, and then we will go ahead and assemble the cards. Now for this, I am using Victorian Velvet, Seedless Preserves, Wilted Violet, Chipped Sapphire, and Salty Ocean. And I think that this color combination is so super cool. I actually found the color combinations on a mood board for winter themed color combinations on Pinterest, and it wasn't for like distress inks or distress oxides or anything. It was just solely color combinations, and I matched up my distress oxides as best as I could to meet those color combinations that they had given as examples. I think they turned out really cool. Let me know what you think, and if you think that these color combinations are something you guys might use. So now I'm using antique linen, old paper, evergreen bough, frayed burlap, and walnut stain distress oxides. And you can see that when I'm doing my ink blending, I'm starting with one color on one edge, building it up color to color. I'm leaving a little bit of lighter space of my blended color so that I can overlap it with the next color and it'll blend a little bit easier. You get less harsh lines that way, and it looks like a little bit more of a smooth blending. And then I actually go back over the areas with the lighter colors after the fact, because I feel like this really helps to smooth out that blending and really gives you that gradient sort of effect. And I really like the way that that looks. So I will be doing, like I said, 4 color combinations all together, and then we're going to see how I colored the images for this. Now I only filmed coloring one of them because I did color them exactly the same way except for the little fox's scarves, which you will see soon. So I only included one of those, and I did speed it up quite a bit because, again, I'm a little bit slow when it comes to coloring and ink blending. So for this color combination, I'm using Salty Ocean, Worn Lipstick, Dried Marigold, Spun Sugar, and Tumbled Glass. This one might be my favorite. I'm not sure. I can't really pick a favorite because I really did love them all, but this one was just so fun and interesting to me, and I love the way that these colors all worked together. I just think it turned out so super cool. The cool thing about these two is you could use them either direction. So just depending on your mood or what you're using the card for, the top could be the pink, or well, it's actually going to be light blue, but the top could be that pink into the light blue, or it could be the deeper, darker blue, but it really just depends on what you want to use it for. But you could choose either one to be your base or your ground or the bottom of your card in whatever way. Even that small change, just flipping the panel that you blended upside down, can create a different feeling as well. I really like the way that that one turned out. I think it might be my favorite. I did trim these panels down after the fact as well to 4 by 5 1/4 so that I could mat them with an A2 size card base in white, because I really liked the way that that white popped around the edges. And for this one, I'm only using 4 colors actually. So I'm using Old Paper, Bundled Sage, Evergreen Bough, and Black Soot. The Black Soot seems unexpected, but it's actually just a really good way to darken up some of your colors to make it look like you had an even darker green, or in some cases a darker purple or a darker blue. I think it really works nicely with these darker and deeper colors to kind of broaden your range and make it so that you don't have to have quite as many colors, because you can use the other colors to shade it. I like the way that this one turned out as well, and I really like that that old paper color has a little bit of a tint of green to it so that you can blend it nicely with the green colors like I've done here. Again, you can see here that I'm just going right back over it like I did earlier to blend out those lines, and I did get a little bit of a smudge. So pro tip, if you have inky fingers like me, especially once you've been ink blending for a while, grab a paper towel or a scrap piece of paper and use it to move and hold your paper down or in place so that you don't get fingerprints all over the place, and that actually works really nicely. Luckily, I was able to blend it out so you don't see it in the end, but it kind of helps if you have that a little tip there. Okay, so now that we have done our ink blending, we're going to go ahead and start on our card creation. I am stamping out these adorable fox images from Merry Kisses. Now this is a Neat and Tangled stamp set. Like I mentioned earlier, Neat and Tangled is the spotlight company for the month of September 2019, and therefore I am featuring their products in my card today. And I'm going to be using this same fox stamp on each of my cards. I'm going to color them exactly the same way, and I've just used my Spectrum Noir alcohol markers to do this. I'm just using a couple of colors for each section, and I think it turned out pretty nicely. The only thing I changed from each fox was the color of their scarves. I did color the scarves to coordinate with the background I had colored and tried to pick up those colors in my coloring. However, that's the only thing I changed. I'm going to go ahead and turn some music on for you so you can enjoy the coloring process, and then I will be right back with you after the coloring is done so that we can assemble the cards. Okay, so we are just about done with the coloring. I'm just going to finish up the cute little scarf here, and here is a look at how the little images look on their coordinating backgrounds, and now we can go ahead and assemble the rest of the cards. So I'm using my mini MISTI with the bar magnet, and I've used some Letter It embossing ink from Ranger. This is a really juicy ink pad, and I really like it because I don't have to stamp multiple times. It works really well, and I usually get excellent results. And then I'm also using some Ranger white embossing powder here. I like to use a coffee filter to catch the stray embossing powder, and then I can just dump it right back into my little container. And then I've used my Wagner heat tool to melt that embossing powder. I decided to go ahead and add a little bit of splatter to each of my backgrounds, so I am doing that here, and I'm just going to show you the assembling of one of the cards because I did them all in the exact same way. So I covered up the bottom because I didn't want the splatters to be on the ground portion, and I spritzed the distress sprayer into my hand and then flicked the water droplets onto my background. I let that sit for a minute, and then I did blot up the excess with some clean paper towel. And now I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this to my card base. So I'm using a double-sided adhesive. This is an ATG or a tape glider, and it just applies the double-sided tape for me. It's just basically a giant tape runner. And then now I'm going to use some Gina K Connect glue to adhere my sweet little fox couple onto my card. I really, really love the way that the scarves coordinate with the background colors because I think it really ties it all together nicely. And then you'll be able to see here in just a minute when we take a look at all of the finished cards, what an impact the difference in the colors make. I think that the change in the background color and the color of their scarves makes all the difference in the world, and you can really change the impact or the vibe of your card by just changing the color palette. And I think that's really going to help us get a lot more out of our stamps and dies. So here I'm just adding a shadow so that our cute fox couple doesn't look like they're just floating off in space, and literally that finishes off the card. Super sweet and simple. And here is a look at the rest of the finished cards. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and you'll be able to use some of the things that we talked about in your next projects. I really enjoyed the opportunity to be here, and I hope that you get a ton more inspiration from the collective creators. Thanks so much, guys, and have an awesome day.